Ever pondered on the concept of the Mass as a sacrifice? How can Jesus die more than once? This is a question that's been asked by many. A common misconception is that in every Catholic Mass, Jesus is sacrificed again and again. However, according to Catholic apologists, this isn't quite the case. The reality is, Jesus doesn't die again in the Mass. Instead, his once-for-all sacrifice is represented, but in a non-bloody manner. Here's an analogy to help you grasp this concept better. Picture a timeless play performed again and again, yet the actors never perish. In the same way, the Mass represents the one-time sacrifice of Jesus, but without him physically dying each time. This mystery of faith is encapsulated in the elements of bread and wine, symbols that carry profound meaning in the Catholic tradition. So, the Mass is not a re-sacrificing of Jesus, but a representation of his one-time, all-encompassing sacrifice. The Bible itself provides a foundation for understanding the Mass as a sacrifice. Let's delve into the scriptural references that support this concept, starting with Malachi 1 verse 11. This verse speaks about a sacrifice and a pure offering that takes place from the rising of the sun to its setting. It's a prophecy that resonates with the rhythm of the Catholic Mass. Picture this. Every hour, every day, in churches throughout the world, the once-for-all sacrifice of Jesus is offered to the Father. This global, ceaseless offering fulfills the prophecy of Malachi, a sacrifice from dawn to dusk, a pure offering that traverses time zones and cultures. But that's just the beginning. There are more scriptural affirmations to explore. Let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verses 16 to 17. These verses talk about the bread and the cup of blessing as a sharing in the body and blood of Christ. They introduce us to the concept of the Eucharist, the bread and wine in the Mass, as a participation in the sacrifice of Jesus. Moving forward to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 26. Here Paul tells us that as often as we eat the bread and drink the cup, we proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. This verse beautifully encapsulates the essence of the Mass. It's not a re-sacrifice of Jesus, but a representation of his once-for-all sacrifice, a proclamation of his death and resurrection. Finally, we turn to Luke 22 verse 19. During the Last Supper, Jesus himself instructs us to do this in remembrance of him. The Mass, in essence, is the Church's obedience to this command, a memorial that makes present again the saving sacrifice of Jesus. These scriptural references provide a strong backing to the concept of the Mass as a representation of Jesus' once-for-all sacrifice. We've journeyed through a thought-provoking exploration of the Mass as a sacrifice. We've uncovered the enigma, the mystery that at every Catholic Mass it's not that Jesus is sacrificed anew, but rather his once-for-all sacrifice is represented in a non-bloody manner. The bread and wine serve as a profound symbol of this ultimate act of love and redemption. We've also delved into scripture referencing the prophetic words of Malachi 1 verse 11, which speaks of a pure offering made from the rising of the sun to its setting. This prophecy is fulfilled by Catholic priests across the globe who offer the sacrifice of Jesus to the Father every hour, every day. Other scriptural references, including those from Corinthians and Luke, further bolster this concept, providing a rich tapestry of understanding that underpins the significance of the Mass. As we close, remember, the Mass is not a repetition of Jesus' sacrifice, but a profound representation, reverberating his once-for-all sacrifice across time and space.